Right, so we are back and we just got through the Arkle Novices Chase. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome to part 2. We are live on Facebook. Keep your questions coming in. And yeah, found the 50 for me. Yeah, you won't find many 50s if you're back in him, bud. Right, on to the 3 o'clock in Leopardstown. So there's loads of interesting runners in this race. Fine Margin, very interesting. Canal End, very, very interesting. Peter Fatty trains, only a 6-year-old. Type of horse you like to see. JP McManus. Panda Boy, looks like he's going to go for a tilt at an English national or something with the way they're campaigning. What's his chase mark? 1 second. 143, yeah. They're going to try and protect that and hope to get in. 143, you'll be in by the skin of your teeth this year. They took out 6 or 7. Anyway, look. So there is another couple of interesting horses in here. 9 Graces ran well the last day, but had no excuses regarding the win side of it. Canal End, very, very interesting. The Ted Walsh mare looks an improver. He'll be hoping she can win here to get into that Pertemps final. She's off 129, but the handicapper actually will put her up for being Irish anyway. It's a thing to do in Cheltenham. You know, I'm sure everybody's familiar with it, but they give the Irish horses a few pounds. So it will be interesting to see how she fares here, because she's very likeable mare, very genuine mare. And she got a really good ride the last day to win. But she is a handy mare, she's nimble enough. So look, this is a wide open race, lads. Take your pick. There's a lot of horses in here could run well. Look at Maximum. How about Maximum? Remember this horse when he came around Elliott's first? £7 claimer on board. He's got top weight, but if he found his best to get out on his odds. Here's a really interesting horse, and he's a big price. Ishan for Sam Curling and Philip Enright. This is an improving horse. Won't mind any cutting the ground either. But yeah, Canal End looks a bit of a plot job. Fine Margin is a horse of Willie Mullins that you're going to be thinking will find a little bit more too at some stage. So definitely interesting. Finished second in Haydock to Slate Lane. Canal End, bred by the Gleasons, same as Dream to Share. Yeah, the Gleasons must have got JP into 2 of them. A Dream to Share and him, right. Yeah, Brader, the Gleasons. Look, it's clearly an interesting horse, lads. When you see a horse that lightly raced with the connections, big festivals, definitely has a live chance. It's been well backed, but I can see reasons why a lot of horses can run well in here. So really tricky affair. Kind of take your pick. Maybe you could pick 3 in this and still get it wrong. That's the kind of race it is. It's that competitive. Right, we move on to the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. Gallop on the Champs at 4-9, Faster Slow 11-4, Conflated 11-1, and I Am Maximus 25-1. I really think it's going to be very tactical. Obviously, I'm not stating we can all look at it and say, right, 4-runner race, what will happen here? Will Conflated just pop out on his own, gallop on outside him? Faster, Slow, and I'm Maximus in behind them. But I wouldn't rule out this being an absolute dinger of a race, lads. I think with the small setup, I think Faster, Slow, and Gallop On will battle this out. I don't think... I said the other day the winning margin of this race will be less than 3 lengths. I wouldn't be surprised if it was less than a length. And that is the truth. I wouldn't be surprised if this threw up an absolute corker between Faster, Slow, and Gallop On, because of the setup, where if they went to steady tactical race. Look, it's interesting race. Anyway, I won't be back in Gallop On a 4-9. If he goes out and murders Faster Slow, it will be unbelievable to see, but he won't. Fast or Slow is a very, very good horse. He's improving. His last 3 runs, lads, he can't have fluked these last 3 runs. He came up against a very well handicapped horse in Cheltenham, who's 3 from 3 over fences there, who's since gone up fucking 18 pound or whatever he's gone up in the handicap. This horse then went to Punchestown, beat. He can't have fluked it. Big run in Cheltenham, big run in Punchestown winning, and come back and win. He can't have fluked 3 big runs. You know what I mean? This is a very, very good horse. And he's trained by a man who clearly knows what he's doing, and had some great success with the likes of number 6 Valverde and many of other horses that he's trained too. Right, so here then we have the Ryanair handicap listed, right, 0 to 150. Interesting, Sophie Leach sends over her horse that won in Cheltenham, only a young horse. The big chaps in here for Paul Flynn, Donna Myler, great jockey. Keith Donehill takes the ride in final orders. He had an absolute belter of a season last year, didn't he? It's hard for horses to kind of come out the year after and back up, you know, an extremely big season. You just end up getting too far up the weights. So the folks, Tiara bounced back from a poor run to win the last day. Yeah, it's one of those races, lads. Maybe it's Pat Doro's turn, and it's funny that he's favourite, you know that? Because when you go through it, when you actually go through it, the horse that finds it hard to win looks to have found a right opportunity. But it's one of those races where, yeah, this is the horse that the young lad won on Slonness, or what's he called? The young lad won on him in Fairyhouse, was it? Yeah, Connor Stonewalsh. So he's up 138, up to 147, plus the rider was claiming. So he's effectively up 9 for the rise, plus he's effectively up 14 pounds. So that will make it harder on him. However, only a 6-year-old, could be very progressive. So Solness could be interesting. And the fact that Sophie Leach brings over the horse who was running well when on Seaton and had some okay form before winning the last day. He beat a horse who runs in Sandown, who we're going to touch on in a minute in the Silly, or is it not the Silly Isles, the shorter race on that card. But we'll come to that in a minute. And then we move on to the bumper. So, A Dream to Share, lads, returns. Been well back to Redemption Day, 7 to 2. You ought to know, someone was mentioning that on the stream the other day. Joystick, Hen's Toot, My Great Mate, Jaberon McCann, The Yellow Clay, and Aiko. So looks at all class race. Obviously A Dream to Share, lads. It'd be great to see him back, even though it's not in a hurdle race. At least we might just get to hopefully he's back to himself. Redemption Day, hopefully he can run well for Connections. And You Ought to Know is clearly a well-touted horse. I've heard a lot of people mention him in the chat. So look, we're going to go over to Sandown for Saturday. I do have some very interesting horses tomorrow for the service. I am going to put one out on the stream and one on the video for YouTube. So we will do that in part 3. So we're going to check out Sandown.